Present.
Secretary Treasurer Horowitz.
Here.
Trustee Warner.
Present.
Trustee Pell.
Present.
Trustee Welker.
Here.
We have a quorum present this afternoon, Mr. President.
Okay, so the next trustee meeting is Monday, January 4th at 1, and work session is on January 6th at 3 p.m. So we have minutes of the regular meeting scheduled September 21st, 2020 at 1 p.m. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Okay, then make a motion that they be accepted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We got a communication from the Bridgehampton Fire District regarding a request for signage at the Sag Pond Bridge ramp, something to do with parking in front of the ramp. So go into public portion.
Wait,
now.
question on that? Sorry. So Ed said that the Sagaponack Village owns that ramp. So the language and the sign will be made by the village.
Okay.
But can we ask Marine Maintenance to put it in? Because the Sagaponack Village doesn't have a Parks and Rec crew or a highway department.
Right. Yeah, I don't see any reason why not, right? I mean, it's spirit of cooperation with the village. They've been cooperative with us, so I think that's the least we can do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our baymen and a lot of, the people, the paddleboarders in the community do use that launching ramp. What has happened, though, it's become with the pandemic and no people going back to the city, it's become almost overused, and the parking that was the barely ability for people to park there has become a problem because people were actually paddleboarding and they were leaving their vehicles right on the launching ramp, and so none of the baymen and none of the people with boats could utilize it. So I think just a signage would be good, but also reaching out to the Sagaponack Village and have them put some parking regulations along that stretch there so that people know where they can park and can't park, because it's a very narrow road when you go over that bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
Agreed.
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great.
Yep.
So let's open it up for public portion. Charles, is there anybody on the line wants to speak?
Yes. 1 second. D Hall.
Okay.
Coming in now. You wanna unmute yourself. I don't know where they went, but when I asked to unmute, they left.
That looked like Dan Hall was on there.
Yeah, it
briefly.
was Dan.
Yes.
Hall.
yeah.
Okay.
Had a number of applications on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
probably
he's-
application.
Yeah, probably non-public portion related.
Right,
It's probably
right.
application related.
Okay. All right.
Is there anybody else from
No
the
one
public?
else. No one else.
Okay. All right, good. Then we'll go into applications for permits then. The trustees hereby waive a public hearing on the following applications because it's been determined that the following projects do not raise a significant degree of public interest or public input, is not needed to aid in the decision-making process. So first item on the agenda today is the application of the Fisher Organization. This is at the end of Royal Avenue where it's a bulkhead extension, actually a return, and a wetland restoration that we discussed at the work session. So this is resolution 2020-282. I make a motion that it be approved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next item is trustee resolution 2020-283. It's the waterfowl hunting location expired non-renewal of permits. Whereas the following waterfowl hunting location permit expired and the person did not submit a renewal application, which involved permit number 13 under the name of Ralph L. Beaver. Resolved that we hereby strike him from the list and the location offered to individual from the waterfowl wait list. So numerous attempts were made to contact him, and he decided to not renew the permit. So make a motion that we adopt this resolution, striking him from the list and adding someone and giving a spot to someone off the waiting list.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried. Okay,
Yeah,
staff,
Yep, I got a few. I got trustee resolution 2020-284, Alan Galashoff, 212, Trust 12 Bay View Drive, Village of Quogue. This is an application that we worked on in work session and meets Blue Book regulations. I suggest we issue the permit.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So carried.
Trustee resolution 2020-285, David Rosenberg, 27 Meadow Lane, tax map 902, 11-1-5.1. It's another application that we worked on in work session, and suggest that we issue this permit as well.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried.
Trustee resolution 2020-286, application of Robert Latorre, 7 Hyla Drive, Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-258-1-6, body of water, Tyana Bay, Dug Canal. We worked on this in our work session. I recommend its approval.
Second.
All in
All in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
So
you.
carried.
Trustee resolution 2020-287, application for Kent R. Spellman, 21 Rampasture Road, Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-293-3-9, body of water, Tyana Bay, Smiths Creek. It should be, instead of Tyana Bay, it should be Western Shinnecock Bay. Tyana Bay is further west than that, so that, should be recognized that it should read Western Shinnecock Bay, Smiths Creek. We worked on this at the work session. I'm familiar with the property. I think most of us are, so I recommend its approval. I need a second.
Second.
Trustee,
All in
Lamar,
favor?
I just recommend you move to amend to reflect that change.
All right, I'd like to
Do a
amend
motion to
the
amend the permit language.
motion
the
to
title,
amend. Yes, the permit language, specifically the body of water. We're going to strike out Tyana Bay,
Well,
and it should be
well-
Western Shinnecock.
Yeah, just leave it as Smiths Creek and you're fine.
Yes, Smiths Creek would be even better because
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
a designated body of water.
So
Strike
strike,
Tyana Bay.
like Western Shinnecock, just put Smiths Creek.
Very
Yep,
good.
Yep,
We need a second on the motion to amend.
Second.
Second.
And then a motion to amend.
motion
Correct.
to
To
amend.
adopt.
I'll second this
adopt.
motion. I think this is just a clarification
Yep.
resolution.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
It's housekeeping, yep. So all in favor then?
Yes. Aye.
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 So carried.
All right. So Lisa, we good on that then?
Yes, we are.
Okay, trustee resolution 2020-288, application for Chase Clean, 183 Bay Avenue, East Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-299-1-34.1, body of water, Shinnecock Bay. We worked on this in work session. I recommend its approval. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
thank you.
So carried. Bill's next.
I just got a question for James on this one. James, did you get the other information we needed on this?
We received the cover sheet that, states the,
The fence in the grass? I see Sean made a phone call too.
yeah, Jim Walker requested a meeting with the DEC to discuss the fencing and the beach
Right.
grass. But
Do we-
that hasn't- so my understanding was that it was going to be, it would be without the beach grass and the fencing for now. And then once the DEC gets on board with the fencing and grass.
I'm not really comfortable with that. I know it's emergency, because we don't want the sand to go back into the inlet.
Okay.
But, what does the rest of the board think about it?
Well, I think it could be approved as without the beach grass and sand fencing, and then later let them put an application to amend it. I mean, I'm in favor of the beach grass and the sand fencing in that area because it's on the east side of Cold Springs Pond, and it's very, very susceptible to a lot of erosion and northeasterly winds. So
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm just afraid that if we grant the permit without the fence and grass, they just forget about it. And I
We
don't want
could-
about it.
You could
we
grant
say-
it with the condition, and then they have to go to DEC anyway, so they can't do it without both permits
Right.
reflecting the same conditions.
All
So,
right, I'm fine.
as it's written that has the snow fencing and the grass in it. So
Yeah, I think our permit should stand alone.
You could
Yeah.
issue this.
Okay, I'm
Well,
fine.
Billy, if the Bay Constable goes down there and does a final inspection and the sand fencing and the grass isn't there, they're going to
They
get
get-
a violation.
Oh, yeah. I just want to make
So-
sure.
So I think we
Okay.
still have the ability to regulate it.
But we don't have to issue a violation. And correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, can't we be more restrictive than a DEC?
We can be more restrictive than DEC, and I would
Yeah.
think it's more likely that they get the condition from DEC once the trustee permit specifies that.
Yes.
I mean, they
So
have
too, it's
to.
a message to the DEC that we want this.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should approve it as it's written.
And
It-
if you
it's-
had the Bay Constable serve a notice of violation, they would come back before this board and explain that the DEC did not grant that condition.
Yeah.
You bring it up with it.
It's imperative that the sand fencing and the grass be planted there because it's almost well over 15,000 cubic yards of material that was dredged from this dredging cycle, plus another 6,000 from last year. So it's an excessive amount of sand that's been placed on that beach. They need to, manipulate it out in a way that it's good to walk over, good habitat for the birds, and we need the sand fencing and the grass to stop the erosion there.
Exactly. I don't understand where they're coming from, but whatever.
I don't either, Eric, because this is important.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why I just want to make a point of it. Is that way it's on record and they can have it.
Yes.
Trustee Resolution 2020-289. Application is Cold Spring Point Association at Cold Spring Point Shoreline, Southampton, New York. Tax map number 0900-156-11. -1-1. Body of water is Cold Spring Pond in Peconic Bay. We just talked about this. We also talked about the work session and looking for a second for this to move it
I'll
on.
second it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, but I'd like to make a comment for the record that the Peconic Beach Road is basically under this whole project, and that's how we take jurisdiction over it,
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
for the record.
Very good.
And I have one more, 2020-290. Category is waterfall hunting location. This is a renewal, waterfowl hunting location application for late renewal. Permit number 227, Mika I can't say the guy's last name.
Muvaramovic,
Dr. Mac,
Dr. Mac.
Yeah, Dr. Mac, we call him.
Yeah.
At West Creek. Looking for a second on this one.
Second.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carry. Ann's next.
Trustee Resolution 2020-291. This is the application for John Idle, 411 Rose Hill Road, Watermill. Suffolk County Tax Map 900-115-3-16, body of water, Hayground Cove. We vetted this extensively at work session. I'd like to request its approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next one is Resolution 2020-261. It's a resolution to amend the Board of Trustees fee schedule for 2021. Everybody looked at this? Everybody comfortable with it?
Yes.
Well,
Any questions on the motion?
Yes, we have to raise a few of the fees.
Which ones were you talking about?
the replacement and reprint, I thought we were gonna go with $20.
Okay,
This is listed as 15.
All right, you have to do that on the floor. You can't
Yeah.
make that
Okay, so-
prior to it being on the floor.
Someone make a motion to amend.
Motion to
To
amend.
make a motion to amend the
Motion to-
fees on the reprint.
well, I
replace-
think that what you ought to do is if there's other,
Yeah.
other
Do
items
it
that
at one
you
shot,
want,
so,
a motion to amend the fee schedule, and then we can deal with them one by one. Okay,
Okay,
so you
so-
have a motion. Ed seconded it, right?
Second it, yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
all right.
Aye. Okay, now you can discuss it.
So,
Placement of the permit,
I think,
reprint permit fee.
right, was, there's a cost to these stickers and there's a time. And I think that $20 made more sense.
Okay, yeah, I thought that was changed. Okay,
You can't change it until it's on the floor because it's a tabled resolution.
Right, there was some other things also that need to be adjusted on this, and that is I don't see. Do I see? Okay, I do see the 3-year permits for the ramp and the 4x4s at 90.
mhm.
But the 1 year, I thought the 1 year was going to 40.
What was,
The 1 year is supposed to
what
be
is-
40.
what is
Scott,
higher?
where are you, Scott?
Where am I?
Are you talking about the 4x4 resident 1 year?
Yeah,
First thing,
You want to raise that to 40?
yeah.
Yes,
That should be 40 for 1 year, and you get a discount on the 3 year. It should be 90 for 3 years.
Okay.
Okay?
and
So-
just what, oops.
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Ann.
Lucy. Well, just while we're discussing this, I had mentioned the other day, inquiring about the possibility of a discount towards the EMS folks as a gesture, for all the hours that they put in as volunteers in this community. But it's my understanding that, after a discussion with, some of the other trustees with EMS folks, that they understand the financial situation that the trustees are in, and that they, in light of collaboration with the trustees, will not at this point go forward with a discount. And it wasn't me that spoke with the other people, so if you guys want to chime in.
Well, in my discussions with people, I know Trustee Pell's had discussions with people as well. I mean, obviously, my son is a very dedicated volunteer fireman in East Quogue, and they run the ambulance also. And, my hat's off too, and I support the EMS and the fire department as much as I can. And I have a lot of folks that I know and friends that are volunteers. And, there's a mutual respect between, the services and the dedication provided by the Board of Trustees in taking care of the resources and the public access for the salt of our community. And I consider those folks in the EMS and the fire department part of that salt of our community. And, we've been preserving and being, this, 4x4 beach access picnic area. The folks that go down there to enjoy their time off with their families are the same people. They're our firemen, our ambulance drivers, our police officers. They would rather us, continue to do what we have to do so that they can continue to enjoy their traditions with their families than save them $10, So,
Well, Scott, this has
I'm
been
all for,
taking place since I got on the board too. Every couple of years it comes up again, and I was active in East Quogue, and the board always felt that, we had a lot of expenses to protect the rights of people to go on the beach. And, the Pipe and Clover program that we undertake is all solely borne by the trustees. And it's just not too many discounts we can give to people, in order to keep ourselves solvent.
I mean, to take this, to even a more analytical approach. I mean, the 2021 budget that we prepared because of the activity that we were anticipating in defense of our resources and public access left us in the contingency line, which is our line that, we could call upon in that budget for, unforeseen things. It was very lean, if you guys recall, with the budget that we've already adopted for 2021. I want to say, my recollection is the line only was about $30,000. So when you factor in, what the effect of something like this is going to have on that line, we're going to have to make further adjustments somewhere down the chain. And I think with everything that's at stake for this community and the pressure that our resources are under right now because of the pandemic, and there's so many people that are around here that want to utilize these resources, my advice is that we make just the necessary adjustments that we have to on this fee schedule where there's a nexus to what the expenses are. And we try and keep this ship in the channel and we do what we got to do. And we can further evaluate these things as we move forward. But that's my view. It's a great thought. I know we took a big step and we took care of our veterans in prior years. And we're going to continue to maintain that for the veterans. But I think at this point in time, I think we should just make these little adjustments that we have to make. And I think we should do the best we can for the people of this community moving forward.
Very well said, Scott. Thank you for saying it.
Yeah, I think this discussion has probably occurred about eight or nine times since I started as being a trustee, and it's basically what you've been saying, Scott. The same feeling was amongst the volunteer firemen too.
Mutually beneficial.
Yep.
So, although it's occurred in the past, just our emergency services have been very much burdened due to the second homeowners that are out and staying out in this community. And although we may not at this point be able to make a financial concession, just many of the people in our emergency services are the ones who do use the picnic area. So just so all of you are aware that we are working to see what can be done in the picnic area so that it's not closed due to piping plovers for the limited amount of time in the summer when it's so busy. So we're working on that and addressing that so that although we may not be able to make a financial concession at this point, we're addressing that as well. So just so everyone knows that.
That's why I'm going to be discussing at the next meeting about opening up and amending the agreement with the county to open up additional areas for beach parking. So in case that the picnic area does get impacted by the piping plover, that we can move it to possibly the west side of Shinnecock Inlet on the county-owned property.
I suggest if we can, before we get confused, we try and lock down this fee schedule and get it amended and approved.
Right. All right. Let's go over it here. The highlighted here was resident 3-year permit was $90. Veterans active military 3-year permit was $0. Senior citizen 3-year permit $45. Replacement reprint permit fee $15. We can change
That would be 20.
Right. Okay.
May I ask a question, please? Is everyone in agreement about raising the 4x4 1-year resident permit to $40?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
Yes.
okay with that because it's going to cost a lot more to defend the beach rights and the piping plover program and possibly the additional areas that we open up.
Thank you.
Are you keeping the ramp the same?
No, the ramp goes up too.
Ramp will be 40 for 1 year, 30 for the 3-year. And I think most of the residents that aren't running away from the community are going to probably, in the ease of, handling their paperwork, just opting to get a 3-year permit and having it on the truck for that period of time.
Well, when people start asking why it's going up, Scott, what is the combined, ballpark figure for the complete renovation of Baycrest Avenue and East Quogue when it's all done?
Well, let's see, Baycrest Avenue, between the pier, the ramp, the catwalk, and everything that had to be done over there, was about $507,750. You're gonna be looking at, Eastport, you're gonna be looking at about 165,000. You get over to Hampton Bays at the Road H facility where people like to fish, you're gonna be, well, probably over 35,000. And we go down to Bay Avenue in East Quogue, which has been in need of repair. We're gonna be somewhere, heading for that $500,000 mark there. So
Right.
the reality is that it costs a lot of money to keep the resources and the infrastructure for everybody to use. Not to mention, the budget line for 2021 legal, not including what, Sean Cambridge services and the town attorney services, just outside counsel, we've budgeted $150,000. Right?
Right.
And then the consultants that are associated that have to go along with that, at least another $50,000. So the reality is that the trustees' responsibility to maintaining infrastructure of the assets of that trust, and in defense of the resources and the public access to the beaches, it costs a lot of money. And we don't want to skimp on the things that make the town of Southampton great. So we want to just, make subtle changes so that there's a nexus between what the expenses are and what we're charging. Okay, so we can keep this whole thing running and keep it in business. Now, we're not talking anything drastic. $10 here, $20 there. It's the 3-year thing. It's not going up at all. Veterans are still no charge.
And in light of messages from the county and the state that there's going to be a lot less money available to give back to us here too. And
Absolutely.
that $1 million that you're talking about is coming completely out of revenues that we get from permits and
That's correct. That's correct.
taxes.
That's correct. What it is that the town has an excellent bond rating, and because of the fact that, we've got a good relationship with the town, we kind of form agreements and they will bond for us, but we're paying off that debt service, and we're paying that debt service off of what we call enterprise revenue, which is the revenue that we generate from these permit fees. So we can pay down those debts over the period of 10 years, so that those are assets with the way they're being rebuilt that should last for half a century with the new types of construction and engineering that's being done. So there'll be terrific dividends that get paid off to the community as time goes on. It's just that some of these assets, it's been impossible to wrangle with to get them repaired. And, when you look at the case of, say, Baycrest that sat with, snow fencing and caution tape, or when you go down to South Bay Avenue in Eastport, similar situation. You couldn't walk on that facility. You'd get hurt. That now we're going to be able to do this. So we really need to make certain adjustments and then tighten the belt as best as we possibly can. We don't want to hurt the taxpayer. We know that they're all out there doing what it is that they have to do to pay their mortgages and their taxes and keep food on the table. These are tough times. So we just want to be able to keep the trustees where they need to be. And we also want to make sure that we have a 7-figure fund balance, so that if at any point in time there's a challenge to any of the rights that we defend for the freeholders of this community that is related to public access to our ocean beaches, where we hold an easement that predates the formation of the country, we want to be able to take an action and do what it is that we have to do as trustees to defend that. And that requires a lot of money.
Right.
And I think it's just prudent housekeeping.
Okay, so you guys are talking about the replacement of permit fees on the boat ramp to 20.
Excuse me, one moment, please. Has everyone in agreement to raise the boat ramp resident 1 year to 40?
Yes.
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 Okay, if we could just go through this line by line so I get it correct. Okay. Sorry, thank you.
Right, so the 3-year permit will be 90 and the 1-year permit will be 40.
Where
Okay.
are you, Scott?
You're talking about the boat ramp, so I'm just letting you know that the boat ramp's gonna go to 40, but we
Right.
also issue a 3-year.
Right.
That 3 year is still gonna be 30 a year, so you'll be able to get your 3-year permit for 90,
Correct. Yes.
okay? The other
Second page.
change, the other change that I want to highlight to the board is going over to shell fishing. And
Uh,
it's a,
No,
what
the
about the
replacements,
replacement fee for the
the
boat ramp?
replacement fee for the
Wait,
boat
wait,
ramp is
across the board are
$20.
gonna be $20.
Okay,
Okay, they're all gonna be
Yeah.
$20?
wait, let me go down the list one by one, okay?
Yeah.
The second page, boat ramp, where it says veterans, 0, right?
Right.
Yes.
Boat ramp, senior citizen, 15. Stop me when there was any corrections, and
Okay.
anyone add anything. Resident, 3-year, 90. Active military, 3-year permit, 0. Senior citizen, 3-year, $45. Okay. Boat ramp, non-resident, 175. That's staying the same. Boat ramp, commercial user resident, 75. Boat ramp, commercial user non-resident, 300. Boat ramp replacement reprint permit fee, changing that from 15 to 20.
Right.
Trustee Beach Roads parking permit, 0. Trustee Beach Roads parking permit reprint fee from $15 to $20.
Hey, Eric,
Right? Yes.
can you go up to Trustee Road parking permit? I think we should start charging for that. We're gonna be
That's
picking up the roads.
really, oof.
Yeah, Billy, I think that's a
I don't
bigger,
even want to touch that one.
that's a
Alright.
bigger topic than we should take on right now. That should be a public hearing and
Just,
Yeah.
I just
really
asked,
well thought out.
Yeah. That would have to be at a later date.
okay.
That's okay. So
I approached that 12 years ago and it didn't go very well, Bill. So
Okay.
that's all I'll say.
Okay. Okay, trustee Beach Road parking permit is replacement fee is $20. Next one's kayak rack permit resident. It was 200. There's a discussion to change it to 100. Right?
Yes,
Okay.
because we
I'm
just
in
started off, I think we should start off at $100 and we could always raise it the following years.
So I'd just like to make the point that the Parks and Rec have kayak racks, or have one kayak rack, and they do charge $200. That rack has been fully sold out for the past several years, where it's been, there's not even, they don't even take a waiting list for it. This project had mirrored the East Hampton Trustees kayak rack program, and they have been selling their racks at $200. I think that with a seasonal thing such as this, going from May 1st to November 1st, and having security in place of requiring everyone to sign the hold harmless and have their kayaks locked, that this is a reasonable request at $200. I think if we do at this point change it to $100, I'd like to strongly suggest that we put wording in here that states that this fee is subject to change going forward. Because to double it in the second year is a lot if people aren't expecting that.
Well, I think we should start the program out with a reasonable fee. Whatever, $100 is a reasonable fee. And then go for a year, see how many of these racks are used, where they're utilized, and then make a consensus at the end of the program, the first year, on where we're going to put more of them, and maybe renegotiate the fee to maybe a little bit higher fee, so that, you know, when you start a program out, you don't want to have empty spaces on it, and you don't want it fully utilized. So I think the goal is to get it fully utilized, and then that way they'll be highly sought after spots, and then we can add to them and up the fee reasonably in the future.
Well, where are the spots that the Parks and Rec have right now? There's one in Bay Avenue in East Quogue. Where are the other ones?
The one at Bay Avenue in East Quogue isn't functioning according to Parks and Rec. They haven't put it on their list. The one they have is at Bay Lane and Watermill, where the yacht club is. The old yacht club.
The sail school is.
Yeah.
If I may interject, while we're discussing that list, the trustees also have to establish, while you have this open, your own list for kayak rack locations. It's to be published in your fee schedule based upon the resolution authorizing it that we had previously passed. So if you want to have your list of locations in this amendment, I would highly recommend that.
Well, I do have two areas I'd like to propose. The first one would be at the J Road, my father's, park at the Ponquag Bridge. And the second one would be at Little Neck launching ramp in the eastern end of Shinnecock Bay. Those are the two areas I think in my area that would be most appropriate for kayak racks to be placed.
But I did give Trustee Welker a list, right? And you have a list that, because Trustee Pell had a list of areas. I added on the Baycrest location.
I can read them. I can read them if you'd like.
Yeah, why don't you?
Hey, just one thing. Hey, Ed,
Yes.
I also was thinking, I think it's in your area. It could be in my area, but Gary's Way on Meadow Lane.
Gary Max Way. Yeah,
Yeah.
but isn't that on the ocean side, Billy?
But there's a street across the street from that. I don't know what that's called.
Well, that would probably be the bay side of Gary Max Way, Bob.
Yeah.
Oh, Jake, D Road, E Road, one of those roads up there, one of the higher alphabet roads.
Because we should try to get in there.
Yeah, but it's a really difficult spot because it's a lot of wetlands between the road end and the water. A lot of wetlands.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it lately, but when we were looking at opening up the alphabet roads up there about 5 years ago, I walked down there and it was a substantial walk between the end of that road. And it was very limited parking on it. It was like a 1-lane road going to the bay. So I think we should take.
Ann's got a list.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
well,
Ann.
I'll just read the list and then we can go through them. Scallop Pond, West Neck, Barker's Island Road, Clam Road, Cold Spring, Conscience Point, Cold Spring Point Road Camp, Fort Pond, Ed Warner Senior Park, Baycrest Avenue Dock in West Hampton.
Well, I think Ed we were talking about this earlier this year about Beachdale. That would probably be one of the
yes.
most actively used ones right from the start. So you want to add that to the list at the
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
like to add it to the list because we've come up with a program down there to manage and make it orderly. So
Right.
by doing that, I think adding a kayak rack for the residents that basically use it for the whole season would be appropriate, and it would help. How would you say, the atmosphere down there? Maybe people would get
Yes.
along a little better.
So Ann, how many do you have there?
problem.
Where is it, Ed? I'm sorry.
Oakdale and Beechhurst.
Well, so before we put these locations on here, Sean, help me with this. Would it not be prudent to place kayak racks on trustee-owned property?
What do you mean they'd have
Because-
to be on your property? You can't place them
Right.
anywhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
So some of the list that I just read is not trustee property. So we have to look at some of these.
Ones.
Ed, if we were to do it at Beachdale, would we put it down on Conic Beach Road?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. So that would definitely be our jurisdiction.
Yep.
And at Little Neck, it would work. At Baycrest, it would work.
Yep. Cold Springs, the park over there, it would work too. Scallop Pond, it would work also.
I'm extremely concerned about Scallop Pond as far as kayak racks. Although it's one of the most pristine, beautiful locations in the town, it's also extremely ecologically fragile. And there's that road is a situation. It's single file, really. It's single track, and it's rutted and pitted. I just think if we could look someplace else, at least for now, that might be a better move.
Well,
I
Barker's
actually disagree with you, Ann, because a lot of people, I know you walk your dog down there every day, but I go down there too with my dog, and I fish down there all spring and summer. And I tremendously see a lot of people who go down there in their regular cars and launch from that area, their kayaks, their paddle boards. And I think if we did a low profile kayak rack there, I think it would be fine. The road gets maintained there. We're looking at to fix the road there very soon. Soon as Richie gets time with the maintenance crew in the Parks Department, they're going to fix that road again by the spring. So I think it's, you're not talking a huge rack down there, but maybe a rack that holds 6 boards or something like that, or 6 kayaks. I think it's a great opportunity to do that.
I mean,
He brings something up. I think we're getting a little off track discussing all the, places that where these things are going to
Yeah.
go. Discussing, our budgetary changes here as far as permits and everything like that.
yeah.
We could
We're
adopt
completely
this.
losing the trustees' flexibility to move things when things don't work out and everything, instead of this fixed thing where it has to be amendments to this and amendments to that. This board has always run very flexible because our environment is completely changing here by the day with storms and if a
Right, so
kayak rack is going to be viable, we'd have to leave it in there for the whole year, even though it's not even being used. I mean, we need to be flexible and be able to move.
this is your authorized list of locations. We did it this way so we don't have to amend the blue book every year, and you amend this document every year anyways. So this doesn't mean you have to have one at each of these locations. This means these are the list of locations where you can put one of these this year.
Right.
Proposed
So
location.
we're discussing
Yep.
the fee requirement on this, on the places where it has been delineated already. So that's it. If we want to make an amendment later on about adding another rack or taking another one out, that's what we do. But we're talking about fees right now.
Well, we need the list of locations for right now, so we can publish it, so we can actually get these things out this year.
So you have a list, don't you?
No one ever established a list. That's why we have to do it on the floor right now.
Well, yeah, I got a list of locations from everybody, and then I forwarded them to Ann to.
Right, they just never made the proposed resolution. That's while we're amending, we're adding that right now. So that if Ann wants to read that list into the record, we'll add those locations. It doesn't mean it's an exhaustive list. It doesn't mean you have to use them all. We can always go back and amend it later. We just need to establish a list right now so we have locations we can use.
So she read them in, right?
Yep.
Well, fast, but Ann, can you forward me the list, please? And then I'll make sure that it makes its way into the reso.
And
Right,
and that's and also
That's
include
the way to do it.
Oakdale and Beach,
Right. So add to Beachdale.
Beachdale.
Right, but
And then
as
we'll-
I stated, some of the ones I read aren't trustee-owned properties.
We can propose it, but we don't have to place it there once we do our homework.
It actually should have said in places where the trustees deem necessary, and keep it simple. But read the list out. We'll amend that at a later date in order to move this thing along.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
yep,
So
so
we're
Lisa,
talking about the fee for the first year of this program. I'm okay with $100.
I'm okay with $100 initially too.
Myself too.
It's a pilot program. So hopefully it's a successful program. I don't have a problem starting at the $100 as you're suggesting, and then as Ann was suggesting, when we get more data on the popularity of certain kayak areas or the non-popularity, and then the safety and security of these areas, we can make adjustments to this program as we need to moving forward. So
Okay.
I have no problem starting at that point.
Okay, so the next one is the
So
kayak.
it's $100, everyone is unanimous.
No,
No,
I don't agree, but I hope that we'll be able to raise it going forward.
you're not
Okay,
having a separate resolution on this. This is a blanket resolution.
No, I'm just stating it for the
No,
record.
I'm not saying that to you, Ann, I'm talking to Lisa. It's not a separate each item.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean, Eric.
It's one
I'm sorry.
resolution. It's resolution 2020-261. It's not a resolution of a 100 or 200. It's one big resolution. So we will vote.
Yes, I understand that. I understand that. We're changing the fee from $200 to $100. Yes,
Right.
I understand that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next item is kayak rack permit replacement fee, $15. You want to put 20 on that, everybody?
20
Yes.
across the
Yes,
board.
that's what we agreed. Any replacement.
Okay. Lake Agawam, seasonal resident, 200, stays. Lake Agawam, seasonal non-resident, 300, stays. Lake Agawam daily, 30, stays. Lake Agawam replacement reprint permit fee, $15,
$20.
okay? Shellfish, resident, 0. Shellfish senior citizen, 0. Temporary resident, 15 days, 100. They're all staying the same. Temporary resident, 30 days is 175. Temporary resident, 60 days, 300. Commercial resident, 100. Replacement
That-
car, $5.
I think commercial's got to go up, right?
Yes.
Commercial's got to go up by 20.
Well, has
Would-
clam transplant, clam fees gone up? You know, shellfish reseeding and everything like that. The cost of our maintenance crew to go out there and reseed and
Well,
all that. You know?
All that stuff's gone up, and in addition, we want to provide a sticker for the vessels, because there's a lot of people that have been coming out,
Yes.
and we don't know, we can't tell who they are.
Hey,
And I
Scott.
think- Yes.
What do you think about 150 and you get one sticker?
Well,
What is-
I think we gotta make it so that all the boats that these guys have
So if
should
you want,
have an identifying
so if you want
sticker.
150, you get one sticker. Then if you're like Ed and have 5 boats, you need 5 stickers, then you get each extra sticker might be $20.
Yeah, where is that? There's no provision in this for additional stickers that I saw.
Well, that's what we were talking about throughout the year, to get better enforcement and better visibility on who's supposed to be harvesting on our bottom and who's not. And there's been, a fantastic year out in, say, Shinnecock. And there's people that I can't tell who they are. I don't know, we know a
Right,
lot
well,
of the local
we all
guys.
agree
I
on-
think I'd like to roll up on a boat and look over at that boat and see, all right, they've got the trustee permit on there, just like a 4x4 or a ramp permit. When I see somebody using, our facilities, I think should be able to see a guy who's out there working the bay and look over and go, yeah, I see the permit on there. And or versus, I don't see a permit on there. Who is this person, commercially harvesting our bottom?
Mhm.
And I think it will help the bay constables be able to, disseminate what's going on as well. So my concern was just simply to cover the extra expense needed to accomplish that goal on the identification of the vessels, just like we do with trucks on the beach.
Okay.
So I don't,
Right. Stand that, but we don't have any, we're dealing with the fees right now, and we don't have any mock-up of any sticker, so we don't know how much it's going to cost, how much is going to be more involved with everything like that. I think you ought to pass on that right now and come up with some designs, talk to IT upstairs and see what they come up with, and get a fee so you can figure out how much it's all going to cost.
well, when
Just
Bill and I,
like the skippers that we're going to approve for the 4x4s for 3 years, something comparable to that with big lettering and shellfish on it. It's pretty
Well, it's-
simple.
Well, it's either that or you do like New York State does when you register a boat and you make them put the commercial shellfish registration number in letters on their boat instead of us
See, when-
issuing a sticker. You have to
when-
have your permit, your commercial permit number or your
Right,
state.
Your town permit number. You could.
When Bill and
I
I,
mean, you could-
when Bill and I went up to IT to discuss the 3-year and, making these changes and whatnot, we kind of ran that by them and said, they said, well, just let us know, because they have the ability to make templates at IT
Right,
pretty easily. And our stickers, color wise, it's going to be uniform. So we would just indicate what we want on that sticker. And, now they make the expiration year so big, so it stands
Right.
out like crazy. So
Right.
the color's
Perfect.
doesn't really matter.
But we
they can
don't have
make
any
that.
to mock up of this. What I'm saying is we don't have any to mock up of the stickers right now. We don't know how much it's going to cost to produce them. And so it's kind of premature to
Yeah,
include this.
But we do
Yeah.
know, because we asked them for the 4x4s for the more
Yeah,
than 3 years, and we have all that information.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
the
so you're
same,
gonna
have-
it's, hey, Eric,
Yeah.
it's the same cost as a 4x4. All we have to do is
Put shellfish
decide
on it.
what we want on it.
Okay.
Right.
Have
You
to
put a
decide.
symbol on it.
But there's nothing on here right now that has the cost of the additional stickers. So
Well,
you have
that,
another
yes.
line item on this particular discussion and put a fee attached to it.
Right,
I
right.
think a fair fee would be $125, and that would include the sticker, because that would pay for the cost of the sticker and the office doing the sticker. And I think I think it's fair for the Bayman, because they've had a tough year, fishing, selling their clams, but I also want to protect the resource. I've been contacted by more than several Baymen about enforcement, new people being out there. So I think $125 with the sticker included is a fair price for
But
this
the
program.
question is, what if the guy's got 2 boats or 3
Right.
boats?
What is the other sticker going to cost? That's the question.
I think it would be just the $20 that we would charge for a replacement sticker for the rest of the town.
The
For the other-
$20 each additional sticker.
Yeah,
That's
we said $20 for the 4x4 for the ramp, for the ag arm, and
Okay.
for the paddleboard. So we'll charge them the same $20 for an additional sticker, which would be
Okay.
status
Okay.
quo we do already.
I'm fine.
You've been a Bayman since day one, and I will take your recommendation,
I think
If
it's
you
fair.
think that's fair,
Yeah.
then that's fair. I
I-
think there's
I
I
definitely.
agree with, I'm fine with it, Ed.
Well,
Okay.
then go with 125 for the commercial, and it's $20 for the additional
Yep.
stickers.
Do
So
you
you're gonna-
just want to say additional sticker, additional sticker fee, $20?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that way if they have 3 boats,
Line item.
Got
That'll-
it, got it.
Yeah, we
Okay.
make another line, and then it's all covered, right, Sean?
Yes.
Yes, just on the enforcement end of it, in the new year, we'll circle back and change the section about shellfishing to add provisions for enforcement. But yes,
Okay.
establish it now in your fee
Right.
schedule. We'll take care
okay,
of that.
is that clear, Lisa?
Yes, it is. Thank you. I'll
Right.
add a line to the fee schedule, and I'll call it commercial resident additional sticker fee, $20. Is that acceptable to the board?
Very
Yeah.
good,
Yes.
Thank you.
very fair.
Okay. So moving on, waterfowl hunting location
You
application.
forgot
What?
replacement card, for the replacement card.
Placement
Commercial?
ID card, $5.
That
That's a
should be
replacement
20,
ID card.
that should be $20. That way it's uniform right down, everything, or the replacement should be $20.
How many replacements did you do last year, Lisa? Do you know on those cards?
I don't think many for the commercial Bayman. I
So,
don't.
Not recreationals.
Oh,
Recreation.
recreationals? I could find out. I don't know who, I think,
No,
Brandy's.
You don't have to. I'm just asking off the top of your head. if you had it.
I don't think it was like an exorbitant amount of people. I really don't. I mean, there were
Okay.
replacement fees, but I don't think it was anything like a
I
high
think
number.
all the replacement fees should be standard $20.
Yes.
That way it's
I agree.
right down the
Yeah.
line and everybody's treated fairly, all right?
Takes a lot of time and a lot of energy.
Yes, Ed, I agree with that again.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so the replacement card
for
fee
commercial?
is $20.
Yes, so
Right.
that goes to commercial and residential, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so $20 fee for replacement card. Okay, even though it's a free card. Okay,
Well,
still
it's a cert, yeah, I
it
mean, you get one free and then you lose
Yeah.
it.
yeah, okay, I got it.
It's a government issued ID.
Yes,
It's
it
a
is.
valuable card, so.
Okay. Waterfowl hunting location, application, resident, 0, same. Waterfowl application renewal, resident, 0, same. Waterfowl impound fee plus cost of removal, 1,000, remains the same. Commercial guide license, 150, that's the same. Mooring, resident, 300, the same. Temporary resident, 200, same. Commercial aquaculture, $250, the same. Impound fee plus cost of moorings, removals, $250, same. Mooring, storm mooring, 300, same. Mooring for a dinghy permit is 0.
Well,
It comes with the, you get the mooring permit.
no, Bill wants to change it.
I want to change it to 25.
Well, you have a permit modification fee. Okay, so you want 25 on there?
Yes, that way if the people want to leave a dinghy there, they pay $25. That way you don't have, you wouldn't say, oh, it's free, I'm going to leave one there, you know?
Yeah, a bunch of junk laying around.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right, I'll be in favor of that.
Okay, at least you got that?
Thank you, Eric.
$25 for the dinghy permit? Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Next one is permit modification fee for a mooring is $25. Same. Personal watercraft float on a mooring, $300 for a resident, same. Personal watercraft float on a mooring, temporary resident, $250. That's the same. Next page. Personal watercraft float on a mooring, permit modification fee is $25. Same. Personal watercraft float, lift hoist attached to permitted docks and bulkheads, $300, same. Personal watercraft float, lift hoist attached to permitted docks and bulkheads for temporary residents, $300, the same. Personal watercraft permitted docks and bulkheads, permit modification fee, $25, it's the same. So beach events is $400, that's the same. For the application fee, late fees, $400, same. Permit modification fee, $50, same. Fee for each additional day, $300, same. Piping plover inspection fee, $250, same. Piping plover monitoring fee, $650, it's the same. Copies, 25 cents, the same for foils. That's state regulated, I believe. Dock slips impound fees, $100. Dock slips resident, $55. Dock slips commercial resident, $60. Dock
Hey,
slips.
Eric,
Yes.
I like to change that, the 60. That's for vote H.
Commercial resident, right. That would cover the commercial dock at Road H. That's basically the only one that we have, right, on that. Dock
Yeah,
slip.
That has to go up because what we are taking in on rent there does not even cover the cost of having the dock.
I believe it's
It's the same as the Parks Department.
But the trouble is, the Parks Department, the town has deeper pockets than we got, okay? That dock was not made for that tonnage boat. If the boat was 55 feet and was a Bruno Stemel, it would be fine. Not that, that's a lot less tonnage, okay? The damage and the wear and tear is not even covering, the rent's not even covering it, Ed. We're going behind on it.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
Oakland on East is charging $200.
well,
I'm not
what are
saying
the
go up to
what are the marinas
$200,
charging?
but they're
what
charging,
is some of the guys were keeping their boats down at Jackson's, right? What was the charge down there?
I don't know at Jackson's, but Oakland's is 200, Core J is 200. I spoke to the Gillnetters where they keep their boats. They're each paying $200 a year.
Yeah, but they have
What about
electric,
the foot?
water, and other services too.
No, nothing. That's all extra.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not saying to go up to 200, but I think it should definitely go up to at least $100.
Well, my 2 cents is that we started the dock lottery fees because just to barely keep up with the repairs and maintenance on the thing. Now, how much are we spending down there on Road H now? We just
At
built.
least 35.
At least
And that's-
35,000.
Please.
And not even gonna fix it.
How long ago was that bulkhead put in? 10 years ago?
About 12 years ago, yeah.
And that cost, that was at least, I think, 200,000, right? Somewhere in that vicinity.
I divided that in Woolly Pond, and it was over 200,000 by the time the change work orders came around. Yes.
So we're talking $235,000 cut it down a little bit, $200,000 in 10 years.
That's $20,000 a year.
Yeah, so you should really be trying to break even, basically, just to keep those slips open.
All right.
Otherwise,
What would a fair rate be for that then?
well, how big is the boat? How long is the boat?
You have
55
144, you have
How much?
144 and 155. I mean, we could put this on hold, this line, and bring the two.
I think we should put it on hold. Let us do some research on the other areas. I know the town gets $60. I know that
I
they
don't
just took it
think-
over.
I don't think we can put one thing on hold,
We
can we?
can't. No,
Well, I think you may
You
just
can
leave it
adopt
as
it
it is for
if you
now, is
can.
what you're saying, right?
Well, they're going to be staying there, and we're getting $60 a foot right now.
Right, so they renew at the end of this year, I believe, those
So they,
permits, right?
if we're gonna go up, we gotta go to, go up to $100 now, then put it up for discussion for the following years. And bring them in, tell them what they want to, ask them what they want to do.
Well,
Maybe
You
the
got
one
no
vote,
time. I think those permits expire, I think, the end of this year.
yeah, they do. They expire the last day of the year.
So
I would be
these
in
guys
favor
have
of
no
it.
time.
I would be in favor of going to $80. I think $100 for that right now is a little over the top, being that the town's only getting $60 for theirs.
I don't agree with you on
problem-
that.
the only problem is I see with the difference between the town and us is that it's like Bill was saying, that the town has, deep pockets and they can get all kinds of grants and they got the CPF money coming in and everything, and we don't on
Well-
that issue. At least to even break even, are you talking, okay, roughly 100 feet of boat? If it was $100, you'd be bringing in 10,000 a year.
Yeah, yep.
1,000 times 10 years is $100,000. That doesn't even cover half the cost of what it. So what are you
Right.
gonna? How much more life we gonna get out of that place? We got to pump 30,000 into it now.
But the-
Get another
the-
10 years out of the bulkhead, probably.
Probably should get 10 more years. I mean, if the pilings are put in properly, you're gonna get more than that. It's the pilings that are failing, not the
But-
bulkhead.
The reality is, though, that in this coming year, we're getting a contribution from the Capital Projects Committee, which is coming from the town. So we are getting some help from the town for this location for now. So
Yes.
if you had to, moderate it, for a little bit here, you're not, the trustees are not going to be, terribly, out this year because we're getting some participation.
I understand that.
I understand,
think the leaves go
Scott,
up.
we're gonna spend more money there next year. We gotta do the rocks.
I agree, but I think that, I feel.
I think $100 is fair.
I think
I don't
100 is good
I
too.
think those guys would not even argue with that, because they want a safe place to tie up their boats. They got a boat with $500,000 tied up there. They don't want to, come down. Like the one broke loose twice and did damage to the dock. Do you think that
Right.
you think he would say, "Hey, my boat did a damage to the dock. I broke 5 poles and broke the girder. Can you fix it?" No. He expects you to fix us to fix it. Doesn't even say anything. Okay, and leaves crap on the dock and puts us in deputized and getting a ticket for having oil down there.
All valid points, all very valid points and true. I'm just,
The time has to come to an end where we can't, they don't care,
It has to
However-
cover its own expenses there. But
Yeah.
if you are going to get some kind of money from the town, if they're going to step up, if they want to subsidize the industry, then perhaps next year in next year's budget, and we put into them to at least get to the point where we have a self-sustaining fund to keep that
Well,
thing operating. At least
Rob, much like we did with the roads, I agree. And Trustee Pell, every single point he made is spot on. I'm just looking at today's the 21st. These things expire in 10 days.
Yeah.
So we've got to make a decision. And, you know,
I'm not looking to make money. It's just
I just want
basically
to make even.
self-sustained, you know?
no, I got you. I
At
just,
least
you know,
at least halfway, you know?
has anybody communicated with these fishermen relative to this?
I spoke to one of them and I told him something would be up. He knows that they're getting undercharged. They got a good deal, and he wants a safe place for his boat, and he's open to any ideas about making it a better location. He was more anxious about getting the rocks and the sand behind the bulkhead because he's afraid that with a heavy wind, heavy northeaster, more sand would be out and that bulkhead would be broken because there's nothing behind it.
Right. Well, rock, sand, we're talking about like 15 or 16 pilings down there. We're talking girders, and then we're talking about, you know, Douglas fir decking being put there, you know, where it's all smashed. So, you know, we are going to be going for a chunk of change, even if they're helping us with whatever.
Well,
So Scott, let's figure this out for a minute. Now, in the capital projects, the town is going to contribute the money for putting the piles in, right? So that's not going to cost us. So if you say a 20-year replacement fee, and it cost $200,000 the last time we did it, we're going to get at least another 10 years out of that. So that would roughly work out to $10,000 a year. So that's what you would get if you had $100. It would be self-sustaining at $100.
Well, the reality is it's that 200,000 is probably in the forward-looking time. It's going to be substantially more. I mean, if you take a look at the amount of money we spent at Baycrest, all right, on bulkheading and everything we needed over there, it's more than twice that.
Well, it's a little bit of a different situation.
It is, but still, you know, you get into the marine construction.
Well, one thing that we have to realize, and I was going to say, we have the only two slips left over there for commercial boats. There really is no other place for these guys to go tie up, unfortunately, because the town dock that is there now is full, and all the private marinas don't want these very large commercial boats.
The town dock, there's a few slips empty at the town dock right now, Ed.
Well,
no, but there are Bob Solo's boat, and there's a couple boats that have leased the slips that aren't in there right now too, Billy. And those boats won't fit in those slips because my son has a boat that's like those boats, and there's only one slip that maybe a boat like that can get in, and I don't think it can.
Yeah, Billy Reed can't fit in there. The 55 can't fit in there, but the 44 can fit in the slip over there because it's like the same thing as the Patriot.
No, the Patriot was a much smaller boat than Jeff's boat.
Yeah.
It was Danny's boat wouldn't fit in that one. It's very narrow, Billy.
Yeah,
I know that because
even with the contribution from the capital projects committee.
So let's move this forward. So you want to put a proposal on the floor to raise it to what?
You just made a good point. We're the only slips because those boats are so big they can't go to the town dock, which is built for commercial boats. This dock was not built for that type of boat. Okay, and it's going to cost us a lot of more money every time we have a storm to maintain this because they're doing so much wear and tear on it.
The trust is going backwards, and we're not supposed to go backwards.
I think at least to tread water, you're going to need $100 a foot.
All right. So do you want to put a proposal on there so we can put it?
Yeah, well, it's all on this one blanket resolution. We have to agree on. It's going to be one vote on the resolution thing.
Well, I mean,
you guys agree with that?
Well, I, as a boat owner and as a trustee of the trust, want to make sure that these people have safe harbor to tie up. So that's first and foremost in my mind.
Yes.
So I guess if we have to charge them more money than they're being charged right now for them to have a safe slip to go to during a storm, I think I'm going to have to agree with Billy and Scott that we should raise it so that we could at least maintain a status quo going forward.
Right.
I'd just like to make one point that has not been brought up These commercial vessels are these people's livelihood. These are not recreational vessels. And this year, both 2020 and 2021, with the COVID virus, there has been a substantial impact on these commercial fishermen's livelihoods due to restaurants either closing or being significantly affected. So I'm just wondering, with the decrease in sales that these commercial fishermen are subject to both in 2020 and upcoming in 2021, if now is the time to raise this fee.
Well, I can see if you were talking about restaurants, but people are still eating the same volume of food, whether they get it in a restaurant or they're going to a supermarket or a fish market. They're still eating the same volume. It's just in a different place.
But there's been
Yeah, but
considerably more work involved because the restaurants are closed.
Yeah, but we also
Or
have the
diminished.
review of the trust too, of our
Well,
fiduciary
that's the thing.
ability to go backwards.
Right. I think you those are also, and valid points, no question. A lot of fishermen's orders got canceled from restaurant, but the reality is, from the trust perspective, I guess there has to be a nexus between the expense of the asset and the revenue that it's generating, and it's been substantially in the other direction. And I don't think that the guys are talking about,
It's $1,800 for one boat and $2,200 for another boat, for us to put money into that dock, for them to have a safe harbor for the next 10 years. I don't think that's a terrible investment for them. I mean,
Okay.
owning a boat of that size and that, worth that much, I would definitely spend $1,800 on, a docking that would be more adequate for a storm event. So,
Okay.
I mean, we're talking about, doing substantial piling work there, dock work there,
yes.
and
And
talking
looking,
rocks and filter cloth and.
but we all have to remember, this is only a stopgap to the next 5 years of what we're going to have to do there.
Right.
This is a temporary fix on a bigger project that we're going to be looking at, like Scott said, $100,000 or $150,000. So, it's a big nut to crack when you look at it that way. On raising the fees, at least in 5 years, we're going to get another, a few $10,000 or more to at least do some project there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to have to go back into the.
Okay.
100%.
So, so the next one is the permit modification fee for dock slips is
I'm
25.
sorry, so what did the board agree on, $100?
Sure.
Was there a consensus on $100?
Yes.
I think that's what we had agreed to, just to maintain the dock
break-
for safe
Good water.
dockage.
Okay, so $100, everyone is in agreement.
To move on, yes.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, to move on, it's an underlying resolution. Yes, that's what's right. That's what we're going to be voting on, the 100.
I just wasn't sure that everyone was in agreement. So everyone's in agreement for $100 for the commercial resident dock slip.
Said it, Scott did, Ed did, and
Okay.
Bill.
Thank
What
you.
about- What about Ann?
He's okay. Nodding yes.
Okay, all right. Okay. Next one is permit modification fee, 25, that stays the same. Then you have a replacement reprint permit fee for dock slips. You're going to put that up to 20 like you had before.
Yep.
All right.
Uniform.
Okay. Now, all the rest of them, to skip ahead to be expedient here, for general permits, all the application fees, as-built fee, modification, amendment fee, renewal application fee, modification, boathouse, deck, and other structure on piles, bulkheads, walkways, dredging, fixed dock, floating dock, jetty, pile, sand fence, steps, and other things, all on that page are all slated for being the same as last year. Is that okay with everybody? You have any changes?
Eric, sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Go ahead.
can we go back up to the non-commercial dock slip? I think it's at 55.
It's at sick, oh, non-commercial is 55.
President.
Yeah,
Resident
I think we should go up on that a little bit. Either go up to 65 or to
I
75.
think you probably should go to 60 to match things. We're gonna put some new piles in down at Eastport and some
I
other
think we
places.
should go up more than that because the cheapest marina is $100 right now. So if we go up to 65, go up $10.
Well, two of our facilities will be brand new.
Yeah.
Baycrest
That's
and
what I'm saying.
Little
So we
Neck
see-
are gonna
go-
be brand new, and we're gonna have a brand new facility at Woolly Pond. So these are, we're renting slips out right next to some marinas that are charging 3 times this price.
Yeah, so I agree with that. That's what
Okay.
the marina was arguing about, that we're so cheap. And
We don't have the same services though, so.
No, that's what I mean. So we got to go, I would go up to 75 on that. Or
I
65.
think that's a fit. We were gonna go to 75 last year, but we kind of got off track and never raised anything last year. So I think that would be fair in light that we're spending well over $150,000 at Little Neck, 200 and how much thousand at Baycrest, how many $50,000 at Bay Avenue. So
Right.
we're taking the money that we're bringing in and putting it back into these facilities to
Yep.
upgrade them. So I think it's then we can eventually do Speonk Shores Canal and upgrade that and fix that up too. I think that's the way you guys are trying to run this program, is that we take enough money in to put it back in to upgrade everything.
Well, we got to pay the debt service on all these projects because you
Yeah, let me,
can't come up with
let
500,000.
me jump in here for a second. I'm having some battery issues here. Scott, can you take over for a couple of minutes till I get another
Yeah,
cord
I
here?
could take over while you deal with your battery.
Something seems to be working here.
So we're just gonna send a dockage bill to Trustee Schultz's house for all
Yes,
the
just going to
recreational.
say that.
Yes, no problem. Yeah, I'm
Where-
gonna take it out of the.
where is it-
Eric
where
Schultz
is it
Trust
that the
Fund,
board-
Pay for everybody.
Where was it that the
So-
board wanted to go with
We
the,
were on,
$75 on it, I think.
I think
Dan
that's a
Welker?
fair
be
price
right.
on a new facility like the ones that we have up
Yeah, I agree
and
with it.
coming now.
I agree
And-
with that.
any thoughts, Ann?
She
No
on mute?
thoughts?
Is she muted?
No, I'm not muted. I just don't want to price the locals out, but I know that we have to support ourselves too. So it's just a tricky thing. So
Well, if you
I'm-
think about, yeah. Well, listen, realistically, boating went off the charts, That's the one thing that, or not the one thing, but
right.
boats and RVs and swimming pools and these types of things, obviously, people
Okay.
really went crazy with in the last year. You couldn't buy a boat. They were all sold. So dock slips were at a premium. And the reality is we're paying a substantial amount of money in debt service to maintain these facilities. And I think that's what people expect. They want to come.
Well, you have to say it to maintain and upgrade them. They've
Well,
been
yeah, we're
upgraded.
maintaining and
I mean,
upgrading
we
because ours
put
would
floating
fall
docks.
apart.
Yeah, I mean, the one at Little Neck has a beautiful floating dock with deep water with pilings. It's a really nice facility. It's as good as any marina. I mean, we do have electric down here, but that's only for lights. But I mean, you're paying $150 a foot at a marina for water and electric, and it's similar to what we have down here without the water and electric.
Yeah, our facilities do have advantages as well. So, I mean, there's some services we don't provide, but there's some advantages to being there as well. So, it's not unreasonable to try and get closer to the expense ratio.
right,
So I'm not opposed to you going to that number if you want. Where'd Bill go? Oh, there he is.
So
okay.
here,
What'd you say, Bill?
75.
Go to what?
I like to go to 75.
75's on the floor, Mr. Schultz.
All right, I'm okay.
Ann Welker?
I would like 65, but if the rest of you feel that 75 is better.
Mr.
I
Warner?
understand.
Being that I worked on these projects, I know how much they cost, like you do, Scott. And, they do have a shelf life of maybe 20 years or so. In 20 years, their next board is going to be looking at these facilities and figuring out how to pay for them. I think it's up to us to set up the cost basis high enough to paying it forward for the future. So
You guys-
I would like to go to 75.
75. Do you guys remember when we went out to get costs just for putting banding on pilings so they wouldn't split? Expensive pilings. You remember what the cost?
Right.
It was like $8,000 in one facility just to put bands on pilings. Right.
Yep.
It's expensive. So, all right. So I think you're settling on 75.
Yeah.
Lisa, you understand?
The board is unanimous in 75, yes.
That's what they want to do.
Can we look at one other thing? Under the general permits, the as-built fee. I
Okay.
think that should increase, perhaps not at this point, but we do need to look at that going forward.
Well, this would be a good point since we're setting
Time to
fees.
look
So,
at it.
It's $1,000 now.
yes.
So Ann, what do you want to go up to? What's your idea?
I'd like 1,500.
Okay, I'm fine with Ann at
Because-
1,500. If she wants 1,500, I'm fine with it. How about you?
1,500 it is. Going once,
Okay.
going
Is
twice.
everybody unanimous?
Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Ann,
Fine with me. I'd rather people come to the table and work with the trustees on making sure that the project fits our Blue Book regulations right out of the gate, rather than just, do what you want and then come and
Hey.
ask for forgiveness.
hey, Ann,
Yes.
you should ask for 2,000. We would have made more.
Next year.
Okay,
Okay,
so-
so looking over that whole general permit area, anybody else have any comments on anything else? Ways,
May-
dredging?
I'm sorry,
Sorry.
so everyone's in agreement for the $1,500 for the as-built fee?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
I do have one question about the general permit, the boathouse, dock and or structure on pilings, basically over our water. We only charge $5 a square foot. We should get $10 for that. Being that we don't get a yearly rent like East Hampton does,
Right.
it's a one-time fee. A lot of these docks and structures you can't access for commercial, fishing or clamming or anything like that. Basically, it becomes off limit and almost privatized by these structures.
Yeah, it's a couple of thousand square feet. Yeah, I would support that. And if we do go to another form of revenue generation as far as piles and docks, assessment fees and everything like that, we can modify,
Yeah,
amend that later on.
but we don't have that ability right now. That's why I'm
right,
saying I think
right.
it would be fair. All right.
Got that, Lisa?
Yeah.
So boathouse deck or other structure on pilings would going from $5 to
10.
$10.
Please.
Now, I got
boathouse deck or other structure on pilings, Ed, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
$100.
Right.
Now, I got a question for Sean on the next one. We need to set a fee for demolition of trustee structures?
Oh, well, you don't have a permit for that yet.
We don't have anything that would cover that yet. That has
But
to
if
be.
we, if we
to the
don't,
Blue Book.
yeah,
We'll have
if
to
we're
wait
going
till
to
it's
do
out.
that, if we're going to do that, should we put the fee in now, or do we have to wait to put the
I
fee
recommend
in?
against it because we need to work out what your repercussions are going to be, how
Right.
things are going to be structured. There's a lot to it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just asking
Would
a
be,
question because I know you talked about it.
We would establish the fee structure at the adoption of the change to the Blue Book.
Yeah, that probably would be a public hearing scheduled for something like
Absolutely.
that.
Yes.
Okay, so I think that we are pretty much finished with this exercise.
Yes.
The question is, does Lisa have?
If
you
we
have
could
the
just
change?
review it very quickly, because I want to be precise on this.
Yep.
Okay, so 4x4 resident 1-year permit is being raised from $30 to $40. Replacement reprint permit fee for 4x4 is going from 15 to 20. Boat ramp resident 1-year permits going from 30 to 40. Replacement reprint permit fee for a boat ramp is going from 15 to 20. Trustee beach roads parking permit is going from 15 to 20. That's a replacement
Right.
reprint. Kayak rack permit is going down from 200 to 100. Replacement reprint permit fee is going from 15 to 20. Lake Agawam reprint 15 to 20. Shellfish replacement card is going to $20, and we're adding additional $125 line for, I'm sorry.
Replacing 100 to
Commercial
125.
resident is going from 100 to 125. The replacement card is going to 20, and I'm adding an additional line for the commercial resident shellfish, additional sticker of $20.
Right.
Okay, dinghy mooring, Maury dinging permit is going from 0 to 25. Dock slip commercial resident is going from 60. I'm sorry, the one before, dock slip resident is going from 55 to 75, and dock slip commercial residents going from 60 to 100. Replacement reprint is going from 15 to 20. General permit as-built fees going from 1,000 to 1,500. General permit boathouse deck or other structure on pilings is going from $5 to $10. That's every change I have.
And you got the 3-year permits at 90, right?
Yes,
I have
They're
a
in there.
3-year permit.
That didn't change.
Right.
Both of them.
that sounds correct.
To adopt
Okay.
as amended.
Okay, so we have
Thanks,
a
Liz.
motion to amend. We need a motion to adopt.
Okay, I'll make the,
Motion,
we adopt.
I'll
Eric,
second.
you made the motion?
Yes.
Who is the second?
Ed,
Okay,
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
So carried. Okay, Mr. Horowitz is next.
All right, we got trustee resolution 2020-292, warrant number 21, in the amount of 1491.05. It's broken down as follows. Brookhaven National Bank, the P card reconciliation, $747.23. Call ahead, $50 for portable toilet rental. Safe Harbor Publications, $236.91 for legal ad publications. William Decker, DBA Personal Marine, $312 to haul a barge from the ramp to Jackson Avenue. Ricky's Plumbing and Heating, $54.40 for marine maintenance supplies. Riverhead Building, $69.99 for marine maintenance supplies. And WB Mason, $20.52 for office supplies for the grand total of $1,491.05. I recommend its approval.
second.
All in favor?
all right,
Aye.
So carried.
Next one, trustee resolution 2020-293. We need to amend the title. The dates in the title should be anytime
Okay, so
during.
you're gonna make a motion to amend resolution 2020-293. Have a
Yes.
second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And now,
The dates should be changed from any time from December 21st up to and including April 5th, 2021,
right.
as they read later in the resolution. So I'd like
Right.
to second.
And you want
Second on that.
to describe what that is?
I'm going to, yeah, I will.
Okay.
I'd like a second on the amendment,
You
please.
got it.
Second.
Favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so this resolution is to authorize Chesterfields to open up Mecox and SAG anytime during the time period of December 21st up to and including April 5th. Do I have to read the whole thing in?
No, it's just describe what it is. It's a resolution to open the inlet from those two different dates, that's all.
Right.
Okay.
That's all. It's just so that we have a chunk of time up to the beginning of piping plover season so that we can go forward with this easily pending approval from other agencies. So I'd like to,
It basically allows us not to have a special meeting every time we need to open MECOX or SAG. Sometimes between a week or so that goes by and we don't have a meeting on, we would have to call a special meeting. So this would give us more of the ability to regulate these inlets when the wind
Right.
and tide and everything is proper to open them.
Okay.
I'd like to,
You had that already, didn't she just do that?
She did
Yes.
a motion to amend.
Right?
Now she has to do a motion to adopt.
thought there was another-
Ed is already seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All
Okay.
right,
okay. Thank you, Lisa. Next resolution, 2020-294. This is a resolution authorizing the support, supporting oyster aquaculture and restoration, which is the acronym SOAR, the planting of oysters in Western Shinnecock Bay in 4 locations by the Gobler Lab from SOMAS. Dr. Gobler did a presentation to the trustees in a meeting 2 weeks or so ago that due to the effect of Long Island oyster growers on from COVID, the Pew Charitable Trust and Nature Conservancy have combined to create this program, and they're purchasing larger oysters from the growers and will be installing them in several different locations in Shinnecock and Western Shinnecock and Riches Bay. To help the oyster growers and help these bodies of water as well. Okay, I'd like to
I'll give you a second.
approve this.
I'll give you a second.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay. Anybody, anyone have anything to bring up?
I do. MECOX is washing over at high tide. The salinity is good. It's about 15, but we are working on opening it. SAG is open as of now. It has drained out quite a bit, but it's looking good. There were 2 really good presentations via Zoom last week on a SAG pond and on Lake Agawam. They reviewed last season's findings and gave good thoughts about moving forward in both those water bodies. There was also a really good presentation by the DEC and the DOS on sustainable shorelines that gave options looking not just on Long Island, but also upstate, the Niagara River, the Hudson River. So that was super helpful as far as other possibilities for
Who
living
gave that?
shorelines.
Who gave
Who
that?
did that? DEC and the
The
DOS.
DEC, was they're the people that are saying raise everything 18 inches? Was that correct?
This was on sustainable shorelines. So looking at more natural options. So this wasn't anything about bulkheads. This was purely green structures.
Well, they're taking in consideration of sea level rise in the next 50 years where we're going to be underwater. So they want to utilize these structures in lieu of a bulkhead, which will be underwater, because a lot of the property is going to be underwater. So they want to take these properties and they want to shore them up temporarily. So when the tide rises and they become covered with water, that they will retreat naturally, where a bulkhead will never retreat. It'll
Right.
just be armored and raised and, houses behind them on taller pilings. So they're actually I think they're looking the future of sea level rise and are trying to deal with it in a rational way.
They also, a key component of every sustainable shoreline is the vegetation, whether it be submerged aquatic vegetation or tidal vegetation, that's intended to increase the structure of either the seafloor or the bank.
So they're not going to be issuing any geotubes or geocubes anymore on the ocean beach?
This was just a presentation, so
I would read
there
that
was no
into it.
discussion of geocubes
This
at
was
all.
by the DEC though, right?
Yes.
Well, how did they address that?
It wasn't part of this discussion.
I guess it's
This
site
was just
specific, I
sustain-
guess.
And this wasn't any ocean shorelines. This is all bays, harbors, or rivers.
Rivers, ponds, and lakes.
You still gotta go,
Yes.
you
A
still
lot
gotta
of them
go
don't have sea,
case by case.
they don't have sea level, rise and fall tidal fluctuations.
Yeah. This was just sustainable shorelines with dynamic situations.
Right, we gotta deal with the
Also-
dynamic situations.
Yeah, right, right.
True.
I'm curious to see how they're going to approach the ocean beaches.
Going forward. Yeah.
Mhm.
I just want to also take a moment, this being our last meeting of the year, to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, and to look forward to happy, healthy New Year, and just to really stress the importance of remaining diligent during our holiday gatherings, when we're indoors with our family and friends. So thank you, everybody.
You have a happy holiday.
Same
Happy
to you, Ann,
holiday.
and everybody
Hopefully-
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have face-to-face again, regular board meetings soon, hopefully. Okay, with that, I'll make a motion to close and go into executive session for discussion on possible litigation. So make that motion to close and go into executive
Second.
session. All in favor?
Aye,
Ed, you were the second?
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
So, Lisa,
before
will
we
you be-
end here, Charles,